Okay. All right. Hi. Hi, everyone. Oh, boy. Dogs are happy today, as am I. I hope you are well. It's Rita from Miss Rita to the Rescue for today's Cricut Chat, our daily live Facebook video for Cricut users or people who are Cricut interested or curious about Cricut. Don't have to have a Cricut to watch, and we do lots of fun things here, mostly Cricut related things. So if you are interested in learning how to use your Cricut to its maximum potential, then watching our program every day or catching the replays on YouTube is really a great way to learn and grow. And I'm mentioning the replays on YouTube because a lot of people do watch them there. And I wanted to encourage you, because we have a few more days left for our giveaway. We are last month, we decided to give away a bundle of joy. This would be a Joy machine, a Cricut Joy machine, the latest cutting machine from Cricut. And we are giving away that and everything you need to kind of get started. There's all kinds of fun things like smart vinyl and smart iron-on and insert cards and things like that. So we're giving away, every month, we're going to be giving away one bundle. And all you have to do is go to the YouTube page, sign up if you haven't subscribed, and if you are already subscribed, comment, share, like any of the videos, and there's literally dozens of videos there. So comment, share, like any of the videos, and you can enter to win this fabulous prize. And you can do this every single day until it's over, and it's going to be over in just a few more days. So get on over to the YouTube channel, or if you're already there and listening to me, make sure you check the description of the videos, and you can find where you have to put your name in after you've shared or liked the video, okay? So this morning, we are going to play around with some felt, and we are going to be making these adorable, and these really are very pretty. They're made from felt, and they are cut on the Cricut, and a lot of you have done rolled flowers before, but this is it's a flower that is not available in Flower Shop, the cartridge. So I wanted to show it to you. And I wanted to also show you a couple of things about cutting with felt. We're going to be cutting with Cricut felt, and I'm going to talk a little tiny bit about the deep cut blade. I also want to talk about where this came from, because it's from a oh, you got felt in a mystery box. I knew that there was a mystery box that had felt coming, and I don't remember which one it was. But this one here I'm using, it might have been the sky, this felt that was like summer sky or something. But this one here is called Spring Rain. There were 3 or 4 different felt groupings that Cricut has. I don't know if they're changing it up or not, but this felt is slightly different than maybe the felt you would buy at a regular art store or a craft store kind of thing. It's stiffer and a little thinner. Yep, we can make succulents with this, but let me just show you this kind of felt. It is a little stiffer. You see, it doesn't really, it doesn't really flop over like a lot of felt. It's a little harder like on the hands, but it cuts. Yeah, it is fairly thin. It cuts really well on the Cricut. I have used thicker felts. For sure, I've used thicker felt, the kind that you find, well, I used to get it at AC Moore, but I did get some from Michael's, and it is thicker, and so I used a different technique to cut it. I used the rotary blade. I believe I used the rotary blade to cut that. But this one here is easy to cut using your deep cut blade, and I wanted to show you how we do that. So again, this is the Cricut felt that we'll be cutting, and we're going to be cutting out this rose and putting it together, and then we're going to be talking about the deep cut blade. So what's the deep cut blade? I'll be really honest with you. I think a lot of people they might buy the deep cut blade and not know how to use it, and maybe they never used it and just sits in their tool caddy waiting to be used. So I want to talk a little bit about it first. Okay, so my deep cut blade, it comes when you buy it, it usually comes as a black housing. There's nothing different about this housing and the regular housing, so consider that. But the reason why they change it to the black housing is because look at the blade. See this blade, how much it sticks out? And this is a regular blade, right? So it's a deeper cut because the blade is longer, and it's good for very thick materials. So I want you to see the difference. Now, you don't need this deep cut blade if you have this. However, it's a little bit difficult to discern the blade. You'd have to check that blade every time or take the blade out. And so I would consider getting this separate. Okay, to just kind of know. And then the blades are actually black, so they just remind you. It's sort of like the fabric blade, which is pink. I think the fabric blade's pink. I have to go check. Anyway, so this is the deep cut blade. I want to tell you that you can buy a deep cut blade separately or with the housing. I found a really good deal on Cricut that I want to point out to you, and I will post the link, but I want to just show you something that I got. If you work with Cricut a lot, this is called the Mats and Blades Everything Bundle, and it is $200 and almost $60 value. You're going to get a True Control knife with extra blades. You get the kit, which has 5 blades, and then another set of 5 blades. But the thing that I really loved about this is that I got 5 premium, see that? 5 premium blades plus 2 deep cut blades, and then a gazillion mats. There's like, let's see, for the 12 by 24, you get 3 mats. And then for the 12 by 12 mats, you're going to get 2, 4, 6. So, so you're getting 6, 7, 8, 9 mats, a True Control knife kit with extra blades, and then 5 blades that are regular and 2 blades that are deep cut. And it is $99.99. When I purchased this, because I'm a Cricut Access customer, I received 10% off of that. And also because I used my code, which is Miss Rita 10. I know this is a great bundle. Now, I don't usually do like sales pitches or anything, but guys, if you are planning on creating with your Cricut, this is a good time to sort of buy this, and you'll have nice fresh mats and blades and everything, and this will last you probably straight into Christmas, so you don't have to worry about, is my blade getting dull, or do I need to run out and get a blade at, sometimes they're like $15 for a blade, and so for me to get 5, and so at $15, that's a lot. And then there is nothing like a brand new mat. I mean, I wash my mats, but I just love a brand new mat. It's almost like, I don't know, it's just, crazy, like feeling of a fresh mat using it, and it just kind of just makes you come alive. Maybe I'm weird. I could be weird. So anyway, I will post a link to this, and do definitely use my code, and it brings it down to about, with my code, and if you use Access, if you are an Access subscriber, brings it down to about $80, and you'll get free shipping. And all that stuff that you kind of need. How do I wash my mats? I wash my mats exclusively with hot soapy water or warm soapy water. Just the kind of soap I use, just regular Joy, I think. And I do use a scrubby sponge to kind of get off all that grit. And in fact, I just washed a grouping of them. I have an awful habit of collecting mats. And so, because I don't wash them that often, but when I do, it feels so good. I think I took a picture last time I did it, because I washed like 40 of them at a time. Yeah, my code is Miss Rita 10. That is probably going to change after the end of this month. I have to talk with the Cricut folks. Let me talk with the Cricut folks about that. But yeah, Miss Rita 10 works. I used it just last week, and I got 10% off. I got the free shipping, and that was all good. So for $80, I got all this stuff. So I'm going to get off my sales pitch here and go back to our project, which is rolled roses done in felt. And I have cut these out in 3 different sizes. This one that I'm showing you is the large size. I think it looks beautiful large, but you can do it smaller, and you can maybe get more than one. This large one is 11 inches wide, so it uses 1 whole sheet of the Cricut felt. And this one here is about 8 inches, and this one is 5 inches. And the kind of 5 by 5, 11 by 11, 8 by 8. Okay, so we're going to cut this big one because I just like this in this, but it can be done in smaller. You do not need to use felt. If you don't have felt, you can do this with paper. You can also make these wavy. I did make one yesterday on paper with wavy when I was practicing. Where is it? Oh, here it is. So this is the wavy blade, what it looks like. And you can use the wavy blade in here, but I'm using the deep cut blade with felt. This is paper. This is the large one. And this is the difference. This is wavy paper. This is regular cut using deep cut blade felt. Okay. And it's Cricut felt. So remember that Cricut felt is different than regular felt. Some of the regular felt is very floppy and sort of thick. If you're going to use that, and it can be done on your Cricut, I would definitely suggest that you tape it down with masking tape. Masking tape, if you're a Cricut crafter, is your friend. And you see here, this is what I use. It's just plain old masking tape. You can buy, I don't know, a bunch of rolls for like $10 on Amazon, which is what I do. You can also use the thinner masking tape or washi tape, but I like this masking tape because it's cheap and it's easy to find and it secures things right on my mat. I used it yesterday, and there is nothing more annoying than putting a beautiful piece of material, whatever the material, into your machine, and then it moves around on the mat, or it gets stuck and it actually stops the machine, and the machine will turn your power on button will actually turn red. So if that ever happens to you, don't freak out. But it means that you probably have a jam. And so what you need to do is turn it off and on, and then hit the eject button and take it out, and definitely tape it down with something, or put it on a newer mat. You know, sometimes it just needs a newer mat, but things can get jammed. And what you want to do is, if they get jammed, definitely look under the rollers and make sure that there's no paper or whatever your material is underneath, because that will interfere with going forward on your machine. Yes, so Annette, I have used the rotary blade on felt as well. So it can be done. And I've actually used it on a thicker felt. But today I want to just show you, because a lot of people, like Bren said, you know, a lot of people got the mystery box, and the mystery box had some felt in it. And so I wanted to show you about how it can be done with your regular blade. So let's get started. So these 3 images are from, or actually it's the same image that I just changed the size. I will give you this so that you can see where I got it, and you can see the different sizes. Try out the different sizes if you want. They actually come with leaves that you can cut out too. But I just haven't cut them out, but I suppose I could go back and cut them out. So where did I get this from? Let me show you. And also want to tell you about a couple. I'm going to give you several projects with this, because I really like this. Oh, let me just go back to my canvas and start new, because that's kind of how you're going to start. So if I start new and I go to images, I'm going to look at the image set, and it's called Vintage Wedding. You can just type in vintage if you want under image sets, which is what I'm doing, and you'll notice that there is a bunch of vintage related image sets, including some beautiful florals, birds, and butterflies down here that are from Anna Griffin. But we're actually going to go to this one called Vintage Wedding. And this is chock full of really great projects, this whole group. So what I did was I put together a bunch of files. I separated some of these out because this is kind of a little overwhelming, because there are these gorgeous bird cages, which we will put together one of these, okay? There's bird cages. There are like if you want to make table stands. This is for an event. It doesn't have to be a wedding. There's our flower right here, and then there's also decorations. So at the end of this video, I am going to post, I think, four different design space files for you, so you can see all 4 of them, and I've separated it out. Or you can just go here, which is called Vintage Wedding. So we're going to choose, this is the rounded one. I want to point out there's also this one here. It's kind of small, but this is a rose file. It's actually from, I think it's from Giant flowers. I've done them both ways. This one here you put together, it's very piecemeal kind of flower, and it can be a little frustrating if it's your first time doing it. But this one, because it's a rolled flower, is super easy, okay? Now I'm going to insert that into my canvas. If you're not interested in roses and you just want to do, let's see, and you just want to do flowers, rolled flowers in general, the go-to place normally is called Flower Shop. And so if you type in the word flower under image sets, you can scroll down. There's lots and lots of flowers, but the one that everybody tends to get their rolled flowers from is here, look at this. I didn't never see this. This is called felt flowers. So you could use that as well. But this is the Flower Shop. This is the original set of images that most people use. They use these curly Q ones here, and they can do different sizes. Generally speaking, when people are rolling flowers, they're rolling them at about 4 inches. And I have done this. It creates a nice tight flower, and you can use any of these rolled ones. I think there's about 10 different kinds there. And also there's a lot of other things here as well. So this is a great cartridge, or it was a great cartridge when it started out. And so it's definitely something, if you like flowers, you want to come back to again and again. But we're using our rose. So I'm just going to insert it into Design Space. And you see here, it does come with these greenery, those green leaves. I can just put them all over here and then group them and change my flower to, about 11 inches. I think that's a really beautiful flower. So let's do 11 inches, and we're going to hit Make It. I'm not going to cut out the leaves, but I'm not going to remove them. I'll just skip it, okay? So this is the basic cut, and you see it's going to require your machine to go around and do the loops and everything, which would make it perfect for the rotary blade. But we're going to do that deep cut blade. And I want to just show you material settings for felt, because there are so many different kinds of felt. Even just going into a store like Michael's or something, you can find all kinds of different kinds of felt. I want to show you the ones that I found. So I'm going to go to Browse All Material, and I'm just going to type in felt. Okay, and you'll see here 2, 4, 6, 7 different kinds of felt. Some felt is made with acrylic nowadays, and some felt is made with wool. Some felt is thinner. Most of the stuff you're going to find at the craft store is acrylic, but if you are purchasing online to make felt like little animals and little felt toys, like the kind that you'd find at Leah Griffith's site, then it's probably going to be wool. So you'll notice that here, these are all the felts that we get to choose. I actually just chose this felt. The top one is just called felt. The assumption that I was making was that Cricut had created felt, and so that's probably what they used as their main felt category. Okay, but I want to show you. We're going to go to material settings. This is something that we have done before. So right down here, when you're choosing under all materials, right down here, you'll see a green material setting. Click on that. Now, this is your custom materials template. Let's call it a template, because here, every every cut setting is accounted for. Okay, so if we go down to felt, this is alphabetical. We go down to felt. You can see here that there all are 7, right? Didn't I say 7? 2, 4, 6, 7. And when you go across, so in this case, this is the felt we're going to use. It says 148, that's the pressure. It's saying that it's going to cut it twice and to use the fine point blade. But if you move down here to felt wool fabric, you notice that there's a lot more pressure. 1593 is the number. And even though it's only going to cut once, you're using the rotary blade. So depending on which blade you want to use, and the material that you have, you need to choose wisely, my friend. You need to choose the correct setting. You can also, by the way, change the settings here. You can edit them. It's not something, unless you're an advanced user, it's not something that I would recommend that you do, but let's just go into the felt setting. And you can see here that I could change the number of times that I'm cutting it, and then I can also change from fine point to rotary blade, which is pretty cool. And then I could even change the pressure. Now, I know that Annette last week played around with her settings when she was cutting with the Joy, and she was able to get a nice clean cut with paper just by changing her settings. So this is if you are having problems with certain settings, you can go in here and sort of up them or lower them depending on what your experience is. Sometimes you get settings that cut straight through. I've actually had a setting that cut right on through it was for the knife blade, that cut right on through my Cricut mat, and that was super unusual. So I thought that I'd point it out. You can go actually down or less, down or more. So we're going to just get out of here and choose our regular felt. Okay? So here's felt, and I will point out here too, you can edit the tools and choose rotary blade if you're not happy with the blade that is choosing. Now, I wish that they had deep cut blade here as a choice, but they don't often comment on and tell you to take to use a deep cut blade. I don't know why that is, but to be honest, I think they're missing out, because I think the deep cut blade does a really fine job, and I would definitely recommend it for certain materials such as felt. It seems to work very well. So, but you could change from felt to rotary blade, and all you have to do seriously is just put in the deep cut blade when you choose the blade. Okay, so again, just to go over, because I did at the top of the show, this is the deep cut blade. It is in a black housing. That's to just kind of distinguish the blade from your regular housing. If you look at these side by side, they're actually the same thing. And the only reason why they distinguish, because they don't want you to mess up and use your deep cut blade in your regular housing. So that's why they make a separate one. And then their deep cut blades are black as well. And you notice that they stick out really, really prominently versus this is the regular fine point blade. Okay? So we're going to use this, and all we need to do is take out, the gold colored. I have a gold colored housing. I think it was just a premium that they came out with. I have these silvery ones, but the gold is available or was available, and there's nothing really different about it. So if you got another housing and you don't want to buy the black, you could just put right on it with an indelible marker, just put deep cut on there, and you'd know Okay, so we're going to, I'm going to take you over here. And you notice that I have opened up my clamp and taken out, this is my regular fine point blade. And then I'm going to take my deep cut blade and I'm going to put that in there. Now, the product is on my mat. And it is moving around a little bit, so I might put a little bit of masking tape on here just because I don't want it to move. All right, so let's do that. Masking tape is your friend. And the great thing about masking tape is that you can use it on paper and it won't pull up, it won't rip the paper generally because it's a low-tack tape. A low-tack tape. Masking tape is generally used for painters. You can buy it at Home Depot, of course, or you can buy it online. I will put a link to it. And generally speaking, when I use this, I do tape all 4 sides. It's very similar to the foil that we use to cut with foil embellishments. So just kind of get used to having it around. It's definitely worth it, and it's definitely much better than seeing either your machine get all plugged up or having it move around, the product move around on the mat. And then I'm ready to start cutting. Remember, it's going to cut this twice. And I am just, I'm going to cut this twice. I'm going to hit that button. While I'm cutting it, I am heating up my glue gun. This is just a plain old little glue gun that I have. I also have another one that I really like, but it's super hot, so I use this one. Now note that you might be cutting through the masking tape with this blade because of how I put the flower and it's so close to the edges. That's okay. We'll have to peel off the masking, but it's not a big deal. I'm going to get this one ready too. Well, actually, I have this one. I have 3. So, whoa. Okay. Let me see if I can stop it. So, look what happened. Let me see if I can get it. No, that's not good. All right, we're going to stop it. I'm using the pause button here, and I'm going to take it out, and it started to lift from the mat. So because we're doing this live and as a demo, I'm going to get another piece and put it in. However, I would probably not have removed it. I would have tried to get it stuck back so that it could cut all the way through and I wouldn't waste that piece of felt. But because we're doing this live, and I'm used to messing up a lot, I think we'll do it just this once. We'll do it the correct way. Okay, so we're taping down. Make sure that it's really good on the mat. And now I'm going to try this again. So the reason why that it came up, and let's have a look at it while it's cutting. The reason why it came up is that it wasn't secured onto the mat, although the edges were. And this is what I was talking about. See how it's cutting out there? Now, this isn't a total waste. I can go ahead and take the next one and sort of trace around it and cut it by hand so it's not a waste. But putting it back into the machine once it's been cut like this is probably not a good idea, okay? Because it will end up, it won't be exactly at the same places as what we cut first, or what cut first, okay? So this is doing better. I feel like I pushed it onto the mat much better. Remember, it has to go through twice. It's going to cut the entire thing twice. And maybe we don't need for it to cut twice, because to be honest, it was just cutting once and it looked pretty good. But I didn't change the setting. I just changed the blade. Okay. So just to kind of reiterate on the deep cut blade, it's kind of wonky when to use. It's just kind of wonky when to use the deep cut blade. Use your judgment. Use your best judgment. So for felt, I feel like, okay, it's recommending the fine point blade, and it is pretty thin. But for me, a deep cut blade is a little more assurance that it's going to cut through. I think I would also cut my glitter cardstock with the deep cut blade, or maybe even my shiny paper, or my the shimmer paper. I probably would cut with a deep cut blade. Craft board, any kind of art board, I probably would cut with a deep cut blade. It's just goes deeper. That's all that's different about it. Okay, it's done. Let's take it out. You see how it cut right here and right here. And then we're just going to remove the tape. I keep my tape. I reuse it, except if it's cut out like this. So let's just remove it. One of the things about felt is it can be, what's the word? It can leave a lot of felt dust. Let's call it that. Dusty? No. What's the word? Felt. Help me out, because I don't know what it's called. And then we're just going to peel this off here. So if you're cutting out your felt and you see all of this like residue that's left, that's fine. You can go ahead and leave that on there. It shouldn't affect, but you could also just wash it real quick with the soapy water, and it will return to its sticky state. Now, I find this especially helpful when you're cutting leather. And we're going to cut leather in the future, because now I have my new machine and a lot of people like to see leather. So we're going to cut leather and faux leather and see the difference between the two in a little bit. So, okay, so here is our flower. I'm going to move you over now to this mat area. Let me move this. And we are going to put together using, we have two here actually. I got a purple one and a red one. Now, when making rolled flowers, it is huge, but it ends up being this size. So what size is that? This is about a 4-inch rose. So this is 11 inches cut out, and it leads to about a 4-inch rose. Isn't that nice? So obviously, if you're going to cut it out by, 11, it goes down to 4 inches. So about half. So if you cut it out by 8 inches, it will probably be about 3.5, 4 inches closed. Now that's slightly, you have to take into account that I didn't roll it up really, really tightly. I did roll it up semi-tightly, but I let it kind of come out a little bit. And glue gun is the best thing for rolled flowers. Normally when you're rolling flowers and you're cutting out with paper, you use something called a quilling tool. I'm going to show you what that is so you can see. But we're rolling felt, and I really don't think I need a quilling tool. But quilling tool is just a tipped end that has like a little bit of a slit in it. And then you would take and you would fit it onto whatever it is that you cut out. And this is felt, so it's thicker. It might not even work. Let's try it. Nah, didn't work. So let's just do this by hand. We're going to, when we're looking at this, we're going to roll from the outside all the way in. This inner circle is where we're actually going to glue the flower to. It's sort of the base. All right. This is the same for all rolled flowers. And then we're going to work our way using this as the base, okay? And it goes around and round. So we're just going to start rolling just like this. And if if you kind of let it go by accident, that's okay. You can start over. I got a dog hair right here. So you can start over. If it's useful to get the start done, you could use like a pen or something like that just to sort of get it started. But I don't think you can use a quilling tool unless you have a quilling tool that has a very large slice in it, a very large opening. So I'm just using my hands, and you see I got my finger here and I'm rolling. And I'm doing it fairly tight. I'll let it out when I'm done so that it can look really like a rose. So see that? This to me is the most authentic. This particular pattern is the most authentic rose pattern for the rolled flowers out there. And I've used it a lot. I've done it in paper and in different kinds of, cardstock, double-sided cardstock. If you're going to use patterned paper for any of these rolled flowers, you have to think about it, because patterned paper only shows the pattern usually on one side. And so generally speaking, you're going to use a cardstock that is solid. But if you use a pattern, think about it and try to use the double-sided. Okay, so there it is, all rolled up. And I'm going to just let it open slightly. Now it is a little stiff, so I might have to give it a hand, but it's okay because it's super easy to re-roll it. And if you're going to make a whole bunch of these, once you kind of get going on it, you'll get a better handle for it. So you might want it to be a little more open than this, but this one looks pretty good here too. Okay, so I have my glue gun heating up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put my glue here. I like to put it here rather than putting it on the base, and because I want to get all of those parts. Let me see. I knew that was going to happen, that I was going to be short on glue. So we're going to, and watch your fingers, because it's hot. And try to get, now if you don't get this last row, that's okay, because I'm going to show you how to kind of go back and fix it. But you do want to get those inner parts done, and then we're just going to turn it around on the base, whoops, like this, and press down. And usually with the glue gun, it will take very quickly. So to do the outside edges, you have to take off these little glue strands. But to do the outside edges, what I would suggest, glue strands, is take and come back with your glue gun and just put a tiny dot of glue right there to sort of hold that outside edge. You may not need it, but if you feel like it's kind of loose, this one here, it's a little loose. I could probably just add a little glue right there just so that it catches, and I might even do it on the inside of that flower. And that's it. Isn't that great? So let's do that again just in case. do not worry about this. This is so easy, and I find it very soothing to do these, and I will cut them out often. I'll cut them out, and when I do them in paper, I just make a whole bunch, cut them out, and then sit, you know, on the couch watching TV and just do the rolling. I find it very soothing. So the only thing about that is you have to have your glue gun handy. Even with paper, I like to glue them. Okay, so this is it. I'm starting off using my finger, I guess, in the middle. And if it unrolls on you, that's fine too. We're using that straight edge or the flat edge, I suppose. And the petals are going to be at the top. So here we go, rolling again. This looks really pretty in this wine color, I think. I hope you think that. But it's just beautiful the way that this petal really forms a nice look to the rose. There's really nothing else you are going to want to do unless you want to just kind of fluff the flowers a little bit, the petals of the flower a little bit. If that makes you happy, then do it. So here we go. I'm rolling. I'm rolling. Lint. I was thinking of the word lint. I don't know if somebody came up with it. Yeah, so sometimes felt will leave lint, just like fabric will leave lint. And don't freak out if that happens. Leather leaves a lot of lint. But you can just wash your mat. Okay? So I'm at the end here. I'm going to try to make sure that all these pieces on the bottom are sort of actually meeting so that when I put the glue on, we won't have it unroll from the top or the middle, I mean. So here we go. I'm putting a little bit of glue here and around here as well. And pressing, give it a minute to get there. And if you don't feel like it's all the way there, like you can re-roll it if you do it right away. There we go. Ooh, I love this wine color. And that's a little tighter than I made this one, but you know, roses, they vary. So sometimes it's real tight and sometimes it's looser as they get older. They loosen up a little bit. And that is all there is to it, folks. What do you think? You can do this, again, you can do this as a wavy blade. You can do this as in paper, felt. I suppose you could even do it in faux leather, although I've never tried it. And let me just bring you back so you can see where I got this. So I'm going to cancel out of this cut. Again, you can cut out the leaves and just adhere the leaves to the bottom of the flower. And they have, this one here has like a little slit in it so that you can just kind of glue right alongside the slit. I don't bother too much with the leaves, unless I was doing a whole background in flowers. I might cut a few leaves, but I kind of like it all flowers. So again, this flower comes from, if you go to images and you choose image sets, and you type in the word vintage or wedding. Vintage wedding is the name of the set. Let's see if it no, because it's still showing the flower shop one. So let's go back to vintage. Here we are. And vintage wedding. And do look for the other project files that I have put together that have both there's one that has the bird cages, there's one that has the invitations, the other one's a table, and the other one is decorations. Okay, Thanks everybody for coming today. I hope you enjoyed this, and we are going to see you again tomorrow. Same place, same time. And don't forget, if you really like this video, to share it with others, and anybody that might be struggling with their Cricut or wanting to use their Cricut more. It's just really helpful to have this, in person or like live, I think. So I want to encourage people to join us. So I hope you all have a great day. Hope you get some crafting in, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Take care. Bye. Same bat channel. Yes, exactly. Same bat channel. All right, everyone. Take care. Bye.